What do you think a UFC legend eats when the fight is over? The crowd stops cheering and the lights go dark. You might imagine a giant steak, maybe a plate of sushi, or some high-end celebrity-style dinner. But for Khabib Nurmagomedov, the undefeated champion who retired with a perfect 29-0 record, the truth is way more surprising and way more delicious. Khabib's favorite food is not from his home in Dagestan. It's not a typical athlete's meal, either. His favorite dish comes from a place hundreds of miles away, in a country he didn't even grow up in. The food, Pakistani cuisine, rich, spicy, full of flavor, and packed with the kind of comfort that makes even the most disciplined fighter drop his guard. And when someone once asked him to choose between Indian and Pakistani food, Khabib didn't hesitate. He went straight for Pakistan's chicken tikka masala. So, how did one of the toughest men in the world fall in love with one of the richest cuisines in the world? Let's rewind the clock. It was 2015. Khabib was in Dubai for training. The camp was brutal. Long days in the gym, sweat dripping from hours of wrestling, sparring, and conditioning. Every meal during camp was clean and calculated: grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, a little rice. Fuel for the body, but nothing for the soul. After one especially rough session, his coach Javier Mendez had an idea. Instead of heading back to the hotel, they took a detour into the busy streets of Dubai, straight to a small, family-run Pakistani restaurant. The place didn't look fancy. Just a glowing sign, metal tables, and the smell of spices floating out into the street. But inside, the kitchen was alive. Sizzling pans, the warm scent of garlic and chili, fresh bread being pulled from a clay tandoor oven. Khabib ordered mutton biryani, not knowing what to expect. When the plate arrived, the steam rose like a signal. The rice was golden, dotted with caramelized onions. The meat was tender, falling apart with the touch of a fork. One bite was all it took. He looked at his coach, smiled, and said, "We eat here every night." From that moment, a love story began, not with a person, but with a flavor. And it wasn't just the biryani. Khabib quickly developed a go-to order: chicken Karahi, loaded with extra chilies, soft garlic naan, and a cold mango lassi. The combination became a post-training ritual. The chef remembers him as quiet at first, sitting with his hood up. But when the food came out, the hood came down, and his focus locked in like a fighter stepping into the cage. But here's where it gets interesting. For Khabib, this wasn't just cheat meal territory. He saw something in Pakistani food that connected to his fighting style. He used to say biryani was like jiu-jitsu on a plate. Layers of rice were like layers of control. The surprise bursts of meat and spice were like hidden submissions. And chicken Karahi? That was his pressure game. Hot, relentless, and impossible to escape. Even chai, he said, was like a champion's calm. The perfect way to settle after a war. When word got out that Khabib loved Pakistani food, fans in Pakistan went crazy. Suddenly, he wasn't just a UFC champion from Dagestan. He was one of their own. The first time he visited Pakistan, the streets were packed. It wasn't for a fight or a press conference. He was there for Sikh kebabs and doodh soda, a fizzy milk drink that somehow works perfectly after a spicy meal. Even with his love for these rich flavors, Khabib never let it mess with his discipline. In training camp, his meals stayed light: grilled chicken, boiled rice, vegetables, and sometimes sag for extra nutrients. But the second the fight was over, the eagle was free to feast. His post-fight meals became the stuff of legend. After a win, the table would be loaded. Steaming Karahi, stacks of naan, plates of chapli kebabs. For all his fame and success, he's still a man who values simple, soulful food over luxury. The connection between Khabib and Pakistani food goes deeper than taste. Khabib may have conquered the octagon, but his love for Pakistani food has helped him connect with people in a way no title belt ever could. If you could serve the Eagle one Pakistani dish, what would it be? Should he try nihari next? Or maybe a slow-cooked paya? Thanks for watching. Subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss it.